Skrr.
Slowly, we are live. Hello there. It's that Kimberly again, and another episode of Kind Kids Live, where we're making kindness the norm and sharing our knowledge and our experience because sharing is caring, right? So, before I introduce my guest today, Wave Gene, I'll let him introduce himself. Um, I'm going to let everybody know that we do have a new format for Kind Kids Live. It's the pinwheel instead of the colored coded cards for our topics. And our topics today will be sales, marketing, operations, technology, and social media. Just random. You'll see here in a second when I share my screen with everyone what I'm talking about. It's kind of cool. So um, we will spin the wheel, and Gene will answer one of these, one of the many questions that I have for him. So if you're on the Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, on Painter One's Facebook, please leave a comment, ask a question if you have one, and we'll get to it. Or put on the replay, make sure you put where you're watching from. Hashtag replay. It sits there forever. So it's always great things. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it. And before I hit the pinwheel for our topic, I'll let Mr. Gene Harris introduce himself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Gene.
Gene Harris. I'm the owner operator of Painter One. We're a residential interior exterior painting franchise located in Indianapolis, Indiana, and former multifamily guy. That's how I know you. For 20 years, operated and managed apartment communities all over the country.
Awesome. So you're ready for my Kind Kids Pinwheel challenge of topics, right?
As long as this doesn't hurt, yes, I'm ready.
I promise it will be painless for sure. So let me go ahead and hit the little pinwheel, see if it'll work for me. And then we're going to pick the category technology. There wasn't really a technology question, but I always have a technology question. What are you finding in the last 6 months as it relates to technology that has made your life as a owner much easier?
Life is a last 6 months.
Because I'm
I don't
trying
know.
not to date this by
That's
bringing
kind
up
of
COVID, but the
yeah.
last 6 months,
No, I mean, well,
September 4th, 2020, we're
it's
in.
interesting. So I guess our in the painting business, a lot of other painting companies went to virtual estimates in lieu of COVID and
Hmm.
trying to create distance and respect other people's wishes of bringing different people in their homes and stuff. And so um, we've utilized a little bit of that as far as the virtual estimates are concerned, to at least give people an idea of what it might cost to paint their home. The joke there though is for me has been, if you don't trust me to come to your home to give you an estimate, then how am I going to come paint your house? So I don't know how it's going to work. So and not only that, but it's really tough too. A lot of people don't understand the business too well, but there's a lot more that goes in than just let me give you the square feet and tell me how much it costs, because every wall is different, every
Yeah.
substrate is different. There's just all kinds of hidden things or things that homeowners don't really understand. When we go to an estimate, there's a lot of questions. What about this and what about that? Oh, I never thought of this, and da, 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 so there's a lot of that you can't get from
In
walking
person.
around with a phone or et cetera. Sometimes you don't really see it in real life, and what we don't want to do is we don't want to surprise people,
Yeah.
either show up and go, oh well, we didn't see this and you didn't tell me that, and et cetera. But uh,
Yeah. People don't like those surprises now, do they?
no, they don't. And but then they lean on you as the professional that you should have asked the right questions, right,
Yeah.
and should have done those things. And so we try to. I mean, it hasn't impacted our business at all, really. Most of our clients have understood that we do need to come and check it out
So
in
they're
person.
okay. Even though you have this software, you have this virtual quote estimate that you could be using, people still want you to come look at the job, right?
Yeah, and not only that, but too, virtually is tough because it's about a relationship. That's something. Even when I was running apartments, I used to tell our leasing professionals that, I said, yeah, they leased the apartment from you. I said, but they really leased it because they liked you at the end of the day. I
Yeah.
mean, all things being equal, pricing is usually your pricing is pretty much the same as your competitors, and it is a box, and yeah, we all have granite, and we all have uh, you know, jetted tubs or walk-in closets and pools and fitness centers, et cetera. And why did they come to live in your community versus the other one? And it was probably because of you. They connected with you somehow. Maybe your follow-up was a little bit better, your communication was better, but that still goes back to you again.
Yeah.
And then it's the same in this business. It's people choose us because they like us, not because we were the cheapest ever. And that's not the game we're playing. uh,
Well, not maybe not all the time, but yes, because people do like to do business with people that they know, or they have somewhat of a good rapport, because you just never know, until you know somebody. Even then, when you've known somebody for 10 years, you just never know, right? But
yeah,
still, they want to. If you're gonna be coming to their house every day, they definitely want are doing business with them.
yeah.
They're gonna want to like you.
I'm going to be in their bedroom. Right, I'm saying, like, painting it,
Yeah.
and in their bathroom, and
Not
those are places
not
that even.
you literally, but one of your guys.
Yeah, to me, it's a bad day for them and me if I'm in there painting. It's a bad day for both of us, but no, seriously, I mean, we're going in places where you don't even let your best friend, your friends who come and visit your home, don't
Yeah.
even go in your bedroom and don't even go in your master bathroom, right, or
Yeah.
your closet. And
They shut
those
the
are the
door.
places we're throwing everything in and closing the door when we have company. Because don't open that door.
Yeah, don't do
Uh,
that, please.
so yeah,
No.
so we're going into some vulnerable places for a lot of people too. So
Yeah,
so there
for
has to be some
sure.
trust. There has to be a lot of trust there.
Yeah. Well, that's understandable, but good for your
Um,
company, for them having the necessary tools to be able to, if they want to be distance and they want to not necessarily have someone out, that there's that option, because
yeah.
we definitely
Um,
have options
and
in this
I
time.
guess the only other thing would be I just hired a project manager production
Hmm.
manager for us, and uh, you know we we run this business from our home, and we don't really have an office because there's no really reason to
Right.
have a place, right? And but I was needing to do interviews with several people, and first I started looking into like a day office, right? Rent
Yeah.
rent an office for the day somewhere and kind of sit there and have people just kind of come
Corporate.
through.
It's called an executive suite.
Oh, sorry, an
If I
executive
well, because I
suite.
don't want to give out, because there's lots of companies that
That's
do
what I
that,
mean, right? Yeah,
like
I was going to mention
WeWorks,
the name, but
but it's
I
an
didn't want to.
executive
I didn't want to
suite.
plug shameless plug
Yeah.
for someone, but
Yeah.
um, so I was, and then it just it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, wait, everybody's zooming now, right?
Hmm.
If that's even a word. I mean, I just made that a verb, but everyone,
Yes.
is doing some sort of,
Virtual
you know,
meeting.
weird virtual meetings, etc. And so I'll just do that. So I used a calendar software so they could see my calendar and let them pick their times, and then said, okay, here you go, and set up a Zoom meeting
Hmm.
and just have several interviews. But what was interesting, so I used that. So that was the pro to that. Like, that was new technology. I hadn't done interviews via Zoom
Okay.
before. But I did have one candidate who just struggled getting on Zoom,
Mm.
and I was
What
shocked, honestly. And
was it, a guy, or was it
it
a
was a guy.
girl?
It was a guy.
Was it an older person or a younger person?
I
Okay.
don't. I mean,
Yeah, you're not allowed to ask that. But I
well,
mean,
no. I mean, from the resume, I have no way,
couldn't tell.
knowing how
So
old they
did you
were.
not get to meet with him at all?
Mm-mm. But check it out. So
Okay.
before you go any further, and he even emails me, and it was like, because well, I called him and I said, hey, and he says, oh, I can't find the link, and so I said, let me resend it to you again, and so he gets on there, and then he's still struggling, and I'm just waiting on the
Other end.
the meeting, waiting for him to show up, and he eventually emails me. He's like, yeah, for some reason it's telling me, because then he said, do I need to do this on my computer or my phone? I was like, well, it's your choice, whatever you'd like to do. And then he's like, yeah, it's telling me I have to download something or whatever. And he's like, please don't hold this against me. And I'm like, totally holding it against you. I mean, you you knew it was a Zoom meeting like a
Yeah.
week ago. You've had
Yeah.
plenty of time to
To
prepare for
practice.
this. So even if
Yeah.
you've never done it before, to go download Zoom, to practice with I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was
Yeah.
no preparation. getting ready for this interview. And then so that speaks volume. You know, I've done thousands of interviews, and that speaks volumes to me on if I were to hire you, then that's exactly how you're going to operate.
Yeah.
You're not going to, you're not going to prepare and plan ahead and,
Absolutely.
do those things.
Yeah,
So,
because there are people who are going like for the restaurant industry, right? Or from like a service where they didn't ever use Zoom. I'll just speak from our industry. There's a lot. It was a 50-50 split, but it takes practice, and you can YouTube how to do everything,
that's true. Yeah.
people. I'm just and these technology companies are so far, they put out their own videos, right? Like
Hmm.
Zoom has great ones, Uber Conference, Google Hangouts. Like I
Yeah.
could name off a bunch of
Right.
virtual meeting platforms. Uh, However, those technologies, but then there's other people that give their opinions on them, right?
Right.
And so there's no, absolutely good for you for being honest about it. I'm totally holding it against you
Totally. Yeah.
because I mean that's like showing up to an interview 30 minutes late, in my
that's,
opinion. Like
that's
I'm just
exactly right.
saying,
That's
I'm just,
exactly
as
right.
an ex owner of a business, I'm
Yeah.
gonna say
You did not prepare
nope.
properly for
Yeah,
this meeting today.
absolutely, 100%.
And
So good
yeah,
for you.
I mean, I had never used prior to COVID. I'd never used the Zoom platform before. There's other platforms I'd used that was totally
What? You and
comfortable with
I
using.
zoomed several times.
Not Zoom. Not
Hmm.
I'd never not prior
Not a
to
screen. You never used a screen sharing sort of
before
software.
before March of this year. I'd never been on Zoom. Yeah, I'd use screenshot, but not. I'd used
Gotcha.
other software,
Okay. Okay.
other
Okay.
platforms.
Yeah. Other virtual sharing platforms that you don't want to plug. Got it. Okay. Okay. So that's our technology category. Well, good for you. And it probably ran over a little bit into our operations side, which
Sure. Oh, we're back on
darn.
technology.
Yeah,
Hey,
we're gonna.
I think your wheel's broken.
Yeah, it keeps doing this. I might just go to operations and talk about the hiring methods. Okay, screw it. Well, yeah,
Oh,
that's the third time
hey.
it did that to me. I don't know how I feel. So okay, so
Maybe stop and restart it, and maybe it'll pick something else. Maybe if, like, if you
well,
close
since
the
it's a free
application.
software, I'm not one to complain about free software, and
Yeah.
if I close it out, then I have to redo the pinwheel all over again.
Oh.
Just so you all
Oh,
know,
I
it's
get it now.
great, and it's actually for website purposes or for, like this was a technology that I found by
Yeah.
accident, right?
Right.
And even though it's you can pay for that pinwheel to be put onto your website or some sort of something within your trade show booth, right? Or print it
Hmm.
out.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite interesting. So
Yeah.
there's my technology, one of the many that I've tested out during
Well,
this
so check it out. It's
2020.
funny. So you have a backup, and that's something we use technology when we do estimates.
Uh huh.
It's a software that we use, and we have a quote system, and when we go to start the job, uh, the customer signs the quote on the software page, and it has a digital signature. But we also bring I don't have one in front of me, but I have a folder, and we have a paper backup of everything. We have a paper backup of the quote, paper backup of all the change order, punch list, whatever. All the information's there. So if we get to the site to start the job and our technology is failing us
Yeah.
for lack of connection or whatever, we can still continue to be successful because we have a backup. So
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue into the operations. Well, it's a little bit of sales too,
yeah.
but I always used to, when we did presentations at a company, this is, you know, 10, 15 years ago, but this was before internet, Wi-Fi. We had to bring our own Wi-Fi because a lot of times conference rooms weren't set up or whatever.
Hmm.
And
Oh
this was
yeah.
back when dial-up was still, like people thought that, oh, we have a T1. Well, T1 doesn't mean anything if you got 10 people coming in on that T1, right? Like my
Right.
IT guy had to explain the pipe situation to me, right? So I would always back up our presentation because it was
Right.
video on the internet, right? I would back up with a PDF plus those videos. I would PDF the screen shares, so
Hmm.
people could actually go to the website later if I couldn't
Right.
get to the website at the point. But so as it relates to that operations, you guys do all that backup with like as you're making. Do you do it because you're worried about things crashing, or you do it so like you can still do your jobs, or both?
Yeah. No, it's just on a custom. It's just on a customer level. It's literally, we just have a written job folder. It has
Got
all
it.
their information on here. And then inside the job folder, we would have a copy of the quote, of what we're supposed to do today.
Mhm.
This is the it's like we're showing up to actually paint the house.
Mhm.
So this is, I don't have a copy of the quote in front of me,
Yeah,
but
but it's
it
everything
would say,
there
hey,
just
the
in
two
case.
rooms are paintings, this is everything we're doing, so we can review everything. This is the total. They can sign that piece of paper, just like it's the exact same thing to be signing online. And
Yeah.
then, but then we have a change order list, a punch list, and so everything's paid. We have a paper backup to be successful and continue to do what we're supposed to do, not solely relying. So if technology were to, like I said, typically it's a connection issue, or maybe our websites never go down, right?
Yeah. No, that's not.
Databases never crash, or there, something weird's going on. So
Yeah.
so you just want to be prepared. Again, it's the whole, like we were just talking a second ago, is
Yeah.
be prepared for things to come up, for problems to happen, and be able
Yeah.
to overcome those. So.
And you can be patient and prepared at the same time. There's other, like, there's definitely other options and avenues, and I feel people who can see you, I'll talk from the candidates or from somebody, like if I was the salesperson showing up to pitch something to somebody, or the interviewee person trying to get the job, the other people can, whoever you're presenting to or talking to, can see that you were prepared. You're like, you
Right.
exhausted every single thing to, you know before it was like, oh well, like this is not working. Like they can
Hmm.
see and feel that.
Right.
So, having that patience from an operator standpoint, but being prepared from the, whether it's the salesperson or the candidate
Right.
standpoint,
Hmm.
is key, because our patience is limited during this 2020 time, right? I'm not even going to use the COVID word, but
Right.
during we're all struggling with something, depending on what day of the week it is.
Right.
If it's kids and technology and their education, or if
Hmm.
it's employees, and customers, or if it's just our own random stuff, right? Like,
Right.
our patience level, we definitely need to find it and do a lot more woo-sawing, if at all possible. Would you not
Right.
agree?
That's right. I would agree.
Okay, so my social media question. When did you get on Facebook, and were you a believer in the Facebook for, communities, or your business, or social media in general, if you will?
When I get on Facebook personally, or when I get on
Yeah.
Facebook as a
When did you
company?
get on Facebook personally? Because this always helps me, like, put you
I
in a box.
think like 2008 or
Okay.
something like that. 2006 was even around 2006. I don't think so.
Well,
I think
they opened.
2008.
Well, no, you had to, when it
That
started,
comes
you had to have a college email address, and then they
right.
opened it 6 months later because MySpace and them were
And
going
when was
bust.
that? What year was that? Do you know?
That was, I actually have that date. 2006, I believe, is when the
Okay.
platform
All right.
opened up. I
Yeah.
think. Hold on 2 seconds before, because I was putting it into a presentation, because that's always interesting. I love to see these timelines and how things grow, and how we're like, oh wow. So in 2000, Facebook opens to the public in 2006.
Okay. So yeah, that's probably right then for me for 2008. That probably makes sense then.
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah, 2008. I'm not a big one for posting on Facebook personally.
Mhm.
But it's kind of like my daily newspaper, I guess. I just kind of scroll through and see what everybody else is doing. Lurking, I go, what do you want to call it? What's the word? I forgot. There's a word for it. But anyway,
Um.
um, I mean, I comment on my friends' stuff and things like that and whatever. But I'm not a big sharer, so to speak.
Uh-huh.
My wife is. That's what I tell everybody. I was like, if you want to know what's going on in my life,
Yeah.
just be friends with her, and then you'll
I
know.
I started following. I found out anniversaries, birthdays,
Right.
you
Yeah.
name it. It was on there.
Um, from a company standpoint, I'm a huge believer in it.
Mhm.
I just think it's a place you have to, because that's where everybody is, right?
Yeah.
So it's go where the people are. Um, Same thing with what Snapchat now. I guess it's TikTok is the new big one as well.
Yeah.
So it's just figuring that out. And I remember, uh, about 10 years ago now, I was pushing. I was with another company. A property management company. And I was pushing for a social media manager, someone to um,
Yeah.
drive all of our social media stuff. And I got tons of pushback, even back then, about it. And in my mind, it was someone who was young, fresh out of college, because they kind of grew up with it, really understood it more than we did. and would be really easy to go out and research and adopt new stuff, because that's
Yeah.
the whole idea, right? Is staying current, because with the different platforms.
It's ever changing,
Hmm.
monthly, if
Yeah,
not, if not weekly.
monthly's fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh yeah.
I'll give you these kudos that you were actually the one that turned me on to. I was already on Snapchat, but you were the one when we talked because you were always looking for cooler, hipper stuff for social media like video, which you were already doing, but you're like, "Hey, can you do this?" And you were the one showing me Gary V's videos
Yeah.
on Snapchat, and I was like, "What? Who's this? What?" And I was already on there not really paying attention to like how it was changing and why. I just knew we had to be there, and my niece would communicate with me that there, so
Hmm.
I was there. But just in that time, how things have evolved. TikTok used to be Musically,
Right.
and I was only on Musically because of one of my other nieces. She was much younger then,
Hmm.
but really it starts young and then ticks up. Most of those types of if you look at even Facebook, when it started in college students, and now
Right.
nobody wants to be none of those college students want to be on Facebook
No.
because their parents are. But there's something for everyone, right? Those college
Right.
students and those millennials, they're elsewhere. If they're not on Facebook, they're somewhere else. It's not
Hmm.
about what generation is making that platform
Yeah.
cool at the
Or the
time.
gram, right?
Yeah, the Instagram, the gram. Look at you with all the you got high school, son.
I have
Daddy
a high
teaching you
school
that
son, so
lingo.
I know.
Yes, keeping you cool and hip to the
every,
gram.
every day is like, Dad, you know what this word means? No. He tells
Oh,
me, like, okay,
really?
no, I know. Oh, all the
That's
time.
that's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
Well,
Funny.
when you Google, well, even in this presentation that I'm preparing for, there is a meme of the year. Did you know that they had a meme of the
Oh no,
year
meme of the year.
and a word of the year? And do you know in 2019, yeet,
Yeet.
yeet,
Yeah.
yeet? What does that
Yeet.
mean?
Just awesome. All right. Yeah. Like,
Okay,
just
yeet.
like,
Well, that was kind
yeah.
of like I was not hip to the lit word
Yeah.
when it came
Well,
out.
well,
So,
like boomer, boomers what boomer means, right?
well, other than Oklahoma Sooner boomer, no. What
No,
what
boomer's like an older person. If you're being a boomer, like baby boomer,
Oh, so
so boomer.
they're using their words.
Yeah, oh
Don't
yeah.
be a
I mean, you
boomer.
have to. I'm chair for our high school marching band chaperone, so I'm around 220 of them mostly every day. So I have to understand the language.
You do because then they're probably talking about you, right?
Oh yeah,
Because you're being a
yeah.
boomer.
Your dad's being a boomer.
Oh, I'm totally gonna use that. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need at least an hour session with your son once a
Oh,
quarter
he
to
would love
keep
to.
me up
Yeah,
to
you should have
date.
him on here. He's way
Yes,
more um,
entertaining.
entertaining than I am. Absolutely.
Well, I'm up to having any age, any it doesn't matter to
All right.
share their knowledge because it definitely. I'm actually having one of my friends' sons since in high school on in about a week or so, and he's gonna go over the pronouns with me, and educate because that is definitely something that I know our generation. I'm going to throw you in with me that we're clueless, and and the boomers are clueless, right?
Right.
So
That's
like
right.
we need to get educated for sure.
Hmm.
And Paget says, "Haha, boomer!" Hashtag boomer.
Hashtag boomer. There
She
you go.
agrees.
Thanks, Ann.
Yeah.
Miss you.
We're gonna try not to be, yes, and we do, and we're gonna try not to be boomers, okay?
Yeah. Pretty
But
much if you're on Facebook, I think you're a boomer, considered a boomer now. So,
But what if you're on all of them? Like I'm on all of
well,
them. So what does that
yeah,
make
no, that's
me?
okay. But the kids aren't on Facebook,
Yeah,
right?
no, they're not on Facebook
Right.
anymore.
So.
But but doesn't mean that there aren't still people on the Facebook, right?
No, it just means, like I said, but the word boomer means, it just means it's an older
I
way of
know.
doing things, not
I'm just
necessarily, I
giving you a
guess.
hard
But
time
no, yeah,
because
no,
she
I'll
just
take it.
called us boomers or you anyways.
I'll tell you, I've been called worse, so I'll take that. It's okay.
Well, it's all out of jest because we both know that that's how we share our knowledge with them. They don't always listen to it till much later, but I think we would be so much wiser if we listened to them earlier on.
Hmm.
I do
Yeah.
think I
You
am a
learn a
strong
lot.
believer. Yeah, I
Mhm.
learn a lot. I know you learned Snapchat videos back when you introduced me to the things that were
Yeah,
going on
that's right.
Snapchat. Like marketing wise, like when I
Hmm.
really started focusing because I wanted to. When you when your clients say, "Hey, can you do this?" You want to make sure and bring them what they want, right?
Hmm.
And those were really cool videos that were occurring.
Yep.
Now TikTok is the tool, so I need you and your son to go and master the TikTok tool.
Okay.
Painter One will be getting a TikTok account soon. Just
Awesome.
FYI.
There you go. That's right. Coming to you soon.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I thank you, Gene. I do appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Yes, and if Ryan would love, I'd love for him to be on, and give us some education on the lingo.
All right.
And maybe we can even, if I can figure out how to get the audio to come through with video, which it did come through on this time with the pinwheel. If you heard it, I hope. I'm going to go back and listen. I could get him to give us some of his input on commercials because I think that would be quite insightful to see, comparatively, what do you think about this from,
Yeah.
pulling up YouTube. So
Yeah.
definitely. Okay, so folks, thank you very much. Make sure again, if you have questions for us, leave them in the comments. We'll get to them after and on the replay. Make sure you let us know where you're watching from. And Jean, tell folks how they can get in touch with you, other than putting hashtag Jean Harris in in
Just
the
go to
comments for me.
painter1.com. You can find me right there.
Yeah,
So
painter1.com.
painter1.com/Indianapolis for me specifically. But if you're in a different market, there's painter ones out there all over the country, and you can grab them too if you need to have your house painted.
Yes, please, yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you again, and thank you, and folks, for joining us. We're here every Friday. If you have a topic that you'd like to discuss, please message me or email me. There's the Kimberly at marketingdoer.com. It's right there at the bottom. Again, the goal for this is to share our knowledge, what we've learned over our years of experience, and sharing is caring, and doing it in a kind way. So I appreciate you again. Take care. Bye,
Thank
Jean.
you.
See you next.
Bye.
Bye. See y'all next Friday.